Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. 300 Monday. Whew. Not this is Sparta Monday. No, Ryan Royer, no. This is 300 BBP Monday. How about that? 300 episodes on the BBP. Thank you all for the listeners who have been here since episode 1. I'm talking to you, Crypt Keeper and Thrifty Walrus. Shouts to you both and Greg Hooden and everyone else. Love y'all. But anyway, Monday as well. Camp continues. Fall camp, summer camp, leading into practice, fall practice, leading into football games. Football games coming soon to a stadium near you. That stadium, Nippert Stadium. Lock in Boston College. Bring them to town Monday. More practices under the belt, scrimmage under the belt. Talk about all that. Monday as well, where I'm just going to bring in the 3 guys that were with me. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. They're fantastic. So, Aaron Smith, Chad Brundle, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good. Ready to go. 300 episodes. Crazy.
Insanity.
Started once upon a time. It was just me and Brent.
Yeah. And then I popped in, and I couldn't get out of here. And then we added Royer, and it's been magic ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first started, Ryan Royer was on the football team. We were talking about the spring game that he had. Well, and we talked about the block punt too. Yeah, talked about the spring game that he had. Where who was that? Who was that? 35. Are we going to start a Heisman campaign for that guy?
E&L raised the roof.
Yeah. You were part of the BBP. Little did you know, Ryan. But yeah, man, 300. Hey guys, quick math. I mean, Aaron's the math major, so he should be able to get this pretty quickly. 300 episodes, about 2 hours average each one. How many hours is that, Aaron?
300 episodes, 2 hours each one. That's easy. That's 600 hours.
Okay. So how many days would you have to sit and just listen from midnight to midnight to listen to all episodes? I see you going on that calculator. Good
25
job.
days.
Good job. You're quick with the calculator. 25 days in a row. So guys, get to
almost a month worth of BBPs.
Get to listening. This is going to be a lot of excitement here. Yeah, after we finish this Safety Toughness 101, your homework assignment before next week, tell us what happened in episode 56 and report back. That'd be fun. But yes, Chad B. How are we, man?
Great. It's been kind of an emotional time, Brent. Like, we're entering. Kelsey's about to start her junior year. She's driving. She's got a job. She starts school on Wednesday. I don't have to get up and worry about getting her to school, getting her home from school.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big week in the life of the evolution of the Brendo family. I told Keegan today, I said I might actually be able to do some writing again this year because I'm not being pulled in 73 different directions trying to keep life in balance. So you never know. Brendo's Bites might return. Maybe a different format, maybe like a weekly instead of like a game article, maybe like my weekly take on things happening around the Bearcats, but it's a possibility.
I like that a lot. It's funny you mentioned that because I can see you waking up some mornings at 6:30 and saying, hey, Kelly, are you sure you don't want to ride? You sure you don't want me to take you to school?
Absolutely not.
That was a test. You passed. Congratulations.
I've waited a long time for this. I'll make sure she's up.
Right.
But then I'm going back to bed.
Yeah. I hear you there. Well, good. Shouts to you. New beginnings. And who knows? Maybe return to Brendo's Bites. And then in the off season you can collab with Coach Braswell and kind of get a little.
How was I not involved in that?
You see the guy every day.
I do. Kind of upset. Court's taking the linebacker room around town to try restaurants, and I'm not involved. Like,
Yeah.
come on, coach.
Opportunity missed on his side. Opportunity missed.
For sure.
Yeah. But you know what? We power on. Aaron, how are we, sir?
I'm good, man. Like Chad, I'm sending kids off to school this week as well. One to preschool, one to middle school, one to high school. So, yeah. And then next year we'll have one in preschool, one in elementary school, one in middle school, one in high school. Crazy. But yeah, we're good. We're gonna get this episode 300 on the road.
Yeah. Here we go. It's funny, Ryan. They're mentioning their children and whatnot. I mean, for me, it's maybe one in Bloomington, maybe one in San Diego. For me, I don't know. That's a joke.
Is that right?
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Is it?
Anyway, Ryan. Yes, Ryan Royer. How are we, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Had a solid weekend. Nice day today. Got a good workout in, so ready to hit number 300 with the boys. Come on.
Boom.
Come on.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. 300. Yes.
Come on.
It is crazy, Chad, when you think about the amount of places that we have recorded these shows. It's unbelievable. We've been all over the globe almost.
Yeah. I've been many locations popping in on
San
Diego. LA, San Diego.
Fourth different bedroom I've shot.
Yeah, there we go. See?
CJ in.
Yeah.
Second different house for me. Aaron, you started in your apartment downtown, right?
Nope. But we won't get into where I started. That's in the past.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But I will say I counted 8 different states for me. Pretty crazy. And on top of that as well, Chad, if you go back and you watch some of the first ones that we had on YouTube, you had nothing behind you. It was just two blank walls.
Just a blank wall, yeah.
Studios. Unbelievable. Come a long way, and Jared McCarty, we're not going to bring your stuff up, but yes. Anyway, one other thing that we're going to talk about here.
I can firmly attest.
Is when the season begins, what we have to do is make sure that you go get everything tuned up. You get everything ready for week 1. Week 1's rapidly approaching. And that's where the main part of it all begins. You gotta tune up your vehicle as well. Chad, you mentioned Chad's off camera. You had to go deal with something, but you mentioned Kel's gonna start driving into school.
Not being on screen when you two are going through your
he's gonna
whatever you
he has
two
to
go
drive
through.
it. He's gonna have to drive into school, and you got to make sure she takes her car to Danco Transmission Auto Care, gets it tuned up, gets it ready to roll. $10 off that oil change, 10% off that next fixing over at Danco Transmission and Auto Care. We love you, Danco Joe. Gentlemen, 300, and no better way to roll into it with continuing to talk about the excitement of this upcoming football season. Chad, obviously, scrimmage under the belt on Saturday. Well, first off, I do want to mention one thing. If anyone lives in Indianapolis, because I don't live there anymore, but boy, oh boy, that's sad scenes what my friends are sending me. So if anyone got affected by that, prayers up, shouts to you. Hopefully everything's all right there. Did want to mention that because some of my friends were affected by the floods taking over that area. Crazy weather you guys have been getting up there.
I mean, lives could have been saved by not going to Camp Higher Ground this year.
Right. That is an insane thing to think about. Truly. Yeah.
Because that place floods. Like,
right.
There is a little creek that goes through the front of that place that I've seen after bad storms is insane. The amount of water that collects there. So
yeah. It's I don't know. It's been
nuts.
Sad scenario, but hopefully everything's all right. Like, it's crazy. Like, a road that I used to drive on a lot just completely taken away. Ooh, weather, insanity. But one thing that weather has been able to dodge, of course, is the use of the IPF, and Chad and Aaron, you guys have been on campus for the practices. How much have they been able to utilize that just throughout this camp, being able to get in there and use it to the max? Because every single interview that you see, it's just constantly that's one of the first mentions that all the new transfers talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's the main reason that they didn't go to higher ground was the recovery and the ability to get treatment, get world-class care in a world-class facility as you get ready for practice every day. And you deal with, post-practice and everything that goes along with it. If you get a little bump, nicked up a little bit, your ability to get back out there faster because you're getting to use the IPF, getting to use that recovery facility and the training facility. So, I mean, that's a big part of, look, Ryan knows you got dinged up at higher ground. I mean, they helped you out a little bit, but unless they sent you back to campus, rub some dirt on it and get your ass back out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's the way. I mean, Aaron and the staff still did a great job in the makeshift training room, but
it's not the same.
No, it's not. You can't replicate it. I mean, they would, if guys were banged up, they'd bring them back on the shuttle and evaluate them more. And if there was more specific therapy that would help them, they'd bring them over back to campus because it was only like 30 minutes. So, but it's definitely a lot more accessible now with some of the best indoor, some of the best facility options in the country now with that indoor facility. So,
yeah,
which
makes a huge difference.
Which is one thing that everyone mentions. The other thing that everyone mentions pretty much every single interview that they have is just the connectivity, the overall, every player kind of mentions that this is the most close-knit group they've ever been around. Is that something that, Ryan, I'm going to bring you in on this one because you obviously have experience being on a team playing the sport as well. A close-knit group, the whole culture aspect side of things, how much does that add to the ability to have success when Saturdays roll around?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it. It's about that shows up when you drop an early. Like, think about our team in the biggest game of our lives versus Houston. We go down early in the first quarter. Guys like Kobe Bryant gather up the defense. Hey, this shit's not happening anymore. Like, let's get this shit together and get rolling. It's moments like that where culture really shows up and matters. Or you drop a big game and then the next game coming back in, you have a slow start and you're like, all right, what are we going to do here? Are we going to drop another game? Like, it really does. It's something you can't really measure with a statistic. And it's grown in moments of adversity. And that's what was so good about higher ground, because it's a shitty situation. Not that they don't take great care of us, but it's like, you think about it, you're in the middle of Indiana, it's hot, you're practicing hard as hell every single day, 6 days a week for 3 weeks. So it forces players to come together because in times of struggle. But you can't, inside the lines is inside the lines. You get good work in wherever you're at if you have a good culture built up. And like we've talked about before with Nico, I think Nico is in lockstep with the staff, and I think everyone's on the same page and working well together. So just because they're not at higher ground doesn't mean they can't recreate that. And that facility is so cool. There's so much that the offer there. The guys, they want to be around each other, whether it's at higher ground, whether it's at the IPF. So I think that I don't think we should raise the alarm just because we're not at higher ground. But yeah. Like I said before, I would trust Nico and Coach Satterfield to keep it rolling. And I think the guys are going to have a really good camp. That's what it seems like what we've been hearing coming out of practice. And so
I would say this too, right?
We'll see where it happens come Boston College. That's the
to back up some of what I've said about higher ground in the past. I'm hearing there's a bunch of groups that have pulled out of Camp Higher Ground, not just UC. And like the 4-H clubs are not going there anymore. Like the place is not what it was 5 years ago. And it's unfortunate. It stinks because it was awesome when it was humming along. But with the new ownership, the place has fallen off, and it's not just like trying to sell it because Cincinnati's not out there anymore. my understanding is they're losing quite a bit of business out there because it's just not the same facility that it was under the old management.
Yeah,
Tale as old as time.
I'd also say it's a trend. I'd guess it's a trend across other football programs throughout the country. It's with NIL and kind of the focus shifting more. The focus of the team isn't always the same every year. It's more about like getting who do we have? Like let's get out and be as efficient as possible, stay as healthy as possible, learn about what guys can do on the field, because it's not you don't have like a 5-year kind of pinnacle like we did when I was in school.
Yeah.
It's making the most of what you have, and obviously the IPF is the best way to do that. So I can understand it. And I think there's a lot of teams across the country that used to go away that are staying back at campus and really just honing in on the X's and O's and kind of seeing where the chips fall and working through it throughout the season. So
yeah,
not to say that to discount the importance of it. It's just a different type of environment with what NIL has done to college football.
Yep.
Well, and I'm going to tie this all together because connectivity, most connected team, the culture built. A lot of people say the greatest teams are built through the trenches. So a lot of mention about this offensive line, a lot of mention about this country. That's another repetitive thing you hear in all these interviews with the players and with the coaches is the talk about, yes, this offensive line is the best in the country, and they firmly believe it. So my question, just bringing it out as a broad discussion, what if that truly ends up being the fact? What if at the end of the year we look up and we say, wow, yep, there they are, taking home the award for the best offensive line in the country? What were the results that followed, and what does that do to be able to kind of, raise the entire level of the team?
Yeah, I still go back to, how dynamic can our offense be with a good offensive line? Yes, you're going to be able to protect the quarterback better. You're going to be able to run the ball better. But how are we able to utilize that to be less predictable, to be able to get open on the outside? Because we give JC French a bunch of time in the pocket because we have a really good offensive line. They're doing their job. But do we have a playmaker back there who can deliver the ball to open receivers? Do we have receivers that can get open? If we become a predictable run offense, teams are going to start adapting throughout the game. They're going to start adapting in October. It is huge to have, but you really see the exponential benefit when the guys around the offensive line are performing. So it's because think about what we had with Sorsby. We had one of the best quarterbacks in the country, had a really good offensive line, and you kind of saw us fizzle out, towards the back end of the obviously November, but dropping that Arizona game. It's how do we stay ahead by having the talent that we have at the offensive line? It's going to come down to getting open, delivering the ball to open players, still being able to support with good running backs.
Chad, do you think, I mean, obviously it's been mentioned on top of things, is like offensive linemen aren't the quote unquote like sexiest ones out there. They aren't the flashy wide receivers. They aren't the, big time quarterbacks. They aren't the, hot shot cornerbacks or the star running backs. So
do we have to go through every position?
I was actually going to do all the cool ones. Yeah. All the ones that you want to do a Road to Glory. Is that what it's called? Road to Glory with on.
It is what it's called.
That's
Very good.
That's what it's called.
I haven't played it since the 2014 version, so I apologize. But yeah,
you got it right.
Is that kind of the encompassing thing where it's like, okay, maybe that being the greatest part of the team kind of overshadows the potential of how good the team can be? Or is it more like what Ryan's saying, where it's like, yeah, an offensive line can only take you as far as you can go?
There's just so much more that has to happen if your dominant position is offensive line. Like, the question really is, okay, we understand the offensive line is the best unit on the team. What's the gap, right? Like, is it a wide gap between the offensive line and the next unit on offense? Or is running back pretty close and quarterback is in the ballpark? Like, if you've got a team built like that, then yeah, it's okay that your offensive line is, the bread and butter. But, and I think the running back rooms, this is not saying that I think those rooms are considerably below the offensive line at this point. We don't know. But that's really what's going to be telling as this season goes on. You can be an offensive line dominated team and be really good.
Yeah.
But that's only if those other groups are also up to par and playing well. Like, if the wide receiver unit looks like they did the first week of camp, they're in big trouble. Now, they've been better since then. I think it gets amplified because they got off to a slow start.
Yeah.
That anytime they're not perfect, wide receiver is going to cost them. I don't know that yet. Like, I have seen Fenner has been, really good as camp has worn on. Malachi Henry has been good. Cade Wolford has been good. I'd like to see more consistency, as I think everybody would, from JV Gibson and Gio Katosis. But I don't think as a whole that unit has been terrible. I just think there's been some bumps in the road, some inconsistency in the path that puts some doubt in your brain. And that's not shocking. It's a brand new room. It's a room that, outside of Elijah Jones and Gio didn't really do a whole lot last year. Isaiah Johnson was a good piece, but you're working with 4 new guys that are in that top 6.
Crazy.
And that's a lot. So it's really difficult at this point to get exactly a read on what this thing is going to feel like and look like, because I don't think there is a complete void of talent. I do look and wonder, you had Golday last year, you had Sorsby last year, you had Cyrus last year. Even though Dante didn't have a great year, you had Dante last year. You had some star power, some guys that really popped.
Reliable.
Like, you knew what you were going to get from those guys. We are sitting here at this point. There might be 4 or 5 guys that come out of this year on that trajectory. But as we sit right now, I don't know who would be the answer to that question. I don't know yet.
That's what I was. So going into last season, we knew we were going to have a solid offensive line. They surprised us, but we knew that Sorsby was going to be good. I think he kind of impressed us a little bit throughout the year up until the last month of the season, but I think we can all confidently say, it's like, the offensive line has taken a step. We're confident in them. We're not on the same page with French as we were with Sorsby. We know we don't have Joe Royer and Cyrus Allen on the outside. So it's how much of a drop-off is French and the receivers from what we had last year? Because if it's a significant gap, then there's only they're going to be in trouble because, one, Satterfield runs his offense the way he runs it. J.C. French has a lot of snaps under his belt. But if he can't make plays, then having a good offensive line, it's not going to take you it's not going to take us to an 8-win season. It's we could have a great offensive line, and if French struggles, if the receivers struggle, we could be sitting at 4 to 5 wins. I mean, they can't cannot carry our team to an 8-win season alone. Like, it's going to be what, like Chad said, what is the gap between the unknown players versus the stars that we were relying upon last year? And think about this. Offensive line takes a step. We take a step back with quarterback. with our receivers, then, defense is going to have to take an even bigger of a step than we might even be anticipating compared to what last year was. Because if we can't score, I mean, it's going to be a quick it's going to be a quick reality check of, I don't think our defense is going to be able to win us 8 games either. It's just not how college football works nowadays. So we'll see. We'll see what that gap is, but hopefully it's not too big.
And that's what Stat also mentioned in the most recent press conference he had, was that, the question was brought up about wide receivers, and kind of like what Chad and what you're talking about, Ryan, and what Aaron's thinking down there is the fact that, it's more, yes, each player has had their moments where they've shined, and then the next day he's hoping that they do it, but they don't. And he mentioned Malachi Henry being one guy that's been consistent. He mentioned Cade Wolford being another guy that's been consistent. He mentioned Lorenzo Fenner has been consistent, but yet you want to see the more flashes out of JV Gibson, out of Gio Contosis. So it is kind of waiting to see who is going to be that one guy that jumps off the page. But the crazy thing is, while we wrap up this offensive line talk, I mean, Evan Tankasaw is a bona fide pro. I mean, go back and listen to his press conference. What was that after the pancake thing that Aaron that you were at? You ate 17 pancakes, you dog. But when he got interviewed in that, and it's just phenomenal interview. You can just tell he is extremely poised, very mature, and that's a professional football player, and he's going to be out there playing for the Bearcats on each Saturday. And the fact is, I mean, yeah, he's not lining up on the outside or in the slot like Cyrus Allen was, but hopefully they can take advantage of him at that spot. I don't know. We'll see. And this whole running back group as well, Chad, you kind of talked to this a little bit. I mean, you and Aaron kind of expanded on it last night in your kind of breakdown of the depth chart and the battles and whatnot. Ryan, interested to hear your thoughts on it too. The whole, if you have multiple running backs, do you not have one? And Aaron mentioned that he doesn't think that really matters at this position group, because it seems like that's one spot where no one's really separated themselves out of the bunch either.
Are you talking to me? Sorry.
Anyone can have the floor.
Go ahead. I'm dealing
with
trying to keep the dogs quiet.
Back by committee isn't a prop. Like, that doesn't become as much of an issue when you have the offensive line talent. Are they going to be able, like, I don't doubt that we have backs that are competent enough to hit a hole that a very stout offensive line is going to create. I think it's going to come more down to dynamic play calling as to how to show different looks in the run to not be as predictable, so the offensive line can use their talent and not be outmatched, where the defense can just send more guys than we can block. I don't think running back's going to be an issue. I think, if they don't have a guy yet, I think that the guys that they're talking about, they're going to be able to be competent enough to execute the run, as long as it doesn't become our sole identity and our only ability to be successful on offense. Because I think, we were kind of spoiled with good running backs throughout Satterfield's start, but I don't think that the guys that we have are incapable of performing. So we'll see. It really just comes down to, I'm telling you, it comes down to quarterback and receiver is what's going to unlock the running backs. The offensive line is going to do their job. We have to be able to execute outside of them.
Yeah, that's, we talked about J.C. French being a game manager. And I think that's, in a lot of ways, like something good for this offense, because we've talked about eliminating the 3 and outs and eliminating all those, the empty drives that didn't change field position, gave the opponent like a good starting position, but that's to be countered with. It was also, when you looked at the numbers, one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. So while there was a bust element that's easy to talk about in retrospect, there was also very much a boom element that Sorsby made plays, and the efficiency was great, even though it was a little bit streaky. It was a lot of it hot and cold. But when it was hot, it was like burn your hand, scorching hot. If you have a game manager, the question is still going to be, when you're in a close game with Kansas State and Iowa State and West Virginia and Colorado, because those are really the swing games on this schedule. Those are the winnable games in conference play. Your quarterback's going to have to make plays. Your receivers are going to have to step up late in those games and make plays. You are not going to get many situations like in the Rose Bowl in 2018 where Mike Warren carried the ball almost 50 times and literally just put the Bearcats on his back and said, I am dragging us out of here with a win, come hell or high water. You're probably not going to get that. Now, and you know, I don't know that there's anybody that's built to carry that load. Mike was a special dude when it came to durability and the number of times you could give him the ball and him getting better as the game wore on. I don't think they have that right now. So yeah, like you can be a game manager and you can try to keep the other team's offense off the field and you can keep yourself in games that way. But somebody's going to have to make a play to win the game. And that somebody's name is JC French. And is he capable of doing that against a level of competition that's 2 steps higher than what he has done previously in his career? We don't have that. We don't have that answer yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And game manager makes me nervous with what this team has and what it needs. It's like, what are we looking to prove this year? What needs to evolve?
Win games.
Yeah. That's why, like, a game manager works when you have like a very talented defense that's proven, a very talented running back, a guy that can get open on the outside when you need him. It's like last year we had that streakiness, the playmaking ability, and it's like if you don't have that, it's like we don't have a very dynamic offensive scheme. So it's like it's hard to like to bank on things, you know. It's hard. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Like a mistake is going to feel like 2 mistakes when you have a game manager and you have a less dynamic offense. It's like, yeah, if we jump off sides, all right, well, this drive might be fucked immediately, or we get a holding pedal. It's like those things become like we become a team that can't make mistakes on all 3 phases, and that's something that we've shown to struggle with over the Satterfield era, and taking away our streakiness, reliability.
Except for last year. Last year, they had the ability. There were many times where they got put behind the sticks and Sorsby answered with like a 15-yard completion on the next play.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like that becomes that makes me a lot more nervous this year.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you.
So I can't, you know, we haven't proven to be a team that's like a reliable, mistake-free team, and now you're kind of taking away the offsetting ability of mistakes at the moment for what we know we have, and you're also coupling it with not like a semi-predictable offense is what's been shown. It's, you know, teams have been able to in-game throughout the season kind of figure us out. And if you don't have difference makers, then it's like your hands are tied behind your back.
Well, which is why we have to mention defense now. The fact is, like, how long do you think it would take in the season? Will it just be after game 1 where opposing teams will be able to be like, okay, this is the new scheme they're running, this is what we have to game plan for? Because Brian Sims had probably, I would argue, one of the greatest single quotes of the entire fall camp so far, and that's the fact that he said we are not going to ever rush only 3. It's always going to be 4. So he said it's not going to be like last year. Everyone, the whole entire fan base clamored about how much they dislike the only 3 going at it every single play type ordeal, or for the most part. So just that within itself is a growing positive. But outside of that, with the new scheme, with the amount of different looks that are being thrown out so far throughout camp, and what's going to be probably thrown out in the games when Boston College rolls to town, how long will it take opposing teams to be like, okay, well, these are the different looks we're seeing, we're going to try and combat this? Or is this new different vibe of everything that the Bearcat defense is going to have, will that pose a difficult thing for opponents to have for a long time throughout the year?
I go back to his track record. When you look at the new DC's track record, everywhere he's been, he has generated turnovers. I don't know that you just crack the code and all of a sudden, well, now we figured it out. I think he's going to show far more nuance than that. That's not his first rodeo. He's been doing this for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, go ahead.
I think that, you really start teams really start finding like their identity, like conference play starting, couple games into that. This defense, there's in a game week, there's only so many calls that you have. Situational calls, you're going to dial up, you're going to have consistent pressures, you're going to have consistent zone and man coverages, and offenses are going to, like, it's not to the point where they're not going to be able to have a scheme that they can have a favorable edge to certain calls. It really comes down to the players. It's the players. That's what made our defense so good. That's why we would be able to, rush a shit ton, because we had players that could cover. Obviously, we had the 2. It makes it a lot easier. You have the 2 best corners in the country on your team,
right,
and 2 NFL safeties. So
it helps.
The players have to execute, and you have to win first and second down consistently. You have to beat the run. You have to put the offense in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, more favorable pass coverage downs. We know it's a predictable pass. There's only so many concepts the offense can run, so there's only so many concepts we have to prepare for. But I think it does help rushing more people works a lot, but you have to be able to cover, because if the quarterback can just, like you saw a lot last year, we didn't rush anyone, and if you can just guys will come open and you can find them. And same thing, if you can't cover in man and guys can just get open in 2 seconds, like, it doesn't matter how many guys you send, the quarterback's going to have enough time to just throw the ball out. So really, it's really X and O's matter, but you got to have guys that can execute. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I like the shift. I like the move to more pressure on the defensive side of things, and I think you're going to see, like, obviously by week 5 we're going to have so many calls, but we'll have new calls every week. But it's going to come down to, can the players execute? Can they win one-on-one battles throughout the 3 levels of the defense?
Which is why I think the returns so far, obviously Chad did a really good job writing this up, and obviously, Keegan and pretty much it's been great coverage by bearcatjournal.com. They do a fantastic job. If you've never been to the website, it is bearcatjournal.com. I highly suggest you really log in there. Episode 300.
Can we thank Skeletor real quick for the $5?
I was about to. But go ahead. You got it.
Thanks, Skeletor. Appreciate you.
Yes, awesome bass too, man. Shouts. But anyway, thanks, Skeletor.
Awesome.
By the way, did you guys watch that show? That movie, Masters of the Universe. A quick aside.
A long time ago.
Well, the new one came out. I didn't even know anything about this He-Man guy or any of that stuff. So Skeletor, pretty cool, man. It was an entertaining movie. Kept
Oh,
my
you are in rare form for 300
amount of
tonight,
time.
Brent. It's your flu game. Like
I-
you are at the top of this is peak Brent Young performance right here.
I'm medicated. Trying to power through. But yeah. Aside from obviously with the talks that you mentioned, Ryan, about having 2 star cornerbacks, which is a massive, luxury. Kenny Worthy has been absolutely bouncing off every single report, every single interview, every single thing that you want to talk about. Chad, you mentioned probably the MVP of the camp if you had to give one out up to this point. Does that bode well for this change of scheme and this ability to put pressure on the quarterback, force things when potentially your best player or the best one that's looked so far in camp is at the cornerback position?
You hope so. I mean, the flip side to that is the receiving room stinks, and the corners look good because the guys are easier to cover.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the unknown until somebody else is out there across the line of scrimmage that is not your guys. I mean, how much of it is Kenny Worthy knows the plays, knows all that, like he's guarded JB Gibson for 1,000 snaps probably between spring ball and through the summer and now into camp. And maybe he just has him figured out, and he knows when he's stopping on a route, he knows when he's curling, when he's hitching, when he's dragging, and he's able to read that and react to it and make a play. We don't know that yet. But hopefully, if what Worthy has shown is real, you're getting a guy that potentially gives you a number 1 corner. More so than what we felt like in the past, 4 years since number 1 was patrolling the sidelines.
The saucy sidelines, if you will. Anything, Chad, that you want to add on from that you saw in the scrimmage on Saturday that kind of popped off? Obviously, a 2.5 hour long scrimmage in the heat. It's probably gonna be one where just want to survive the day and have a couple of highlight moments and make sure no one gets hurt.
It was almost up there with the 3-hour scrimmage Tuberville put us through one year in the middle of camp. That was, I mean, it was brutal. Tommy, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You were hanging out on the golf cart anyway, man. Come on now.
No, that was like camp. Like I got golf cart treatment during like the summer camps with the high school prospects. He didn't really he wasn't Butch Jones. Butch Jones had the golf cart at practice, cruising around practice. Tommy didn't really do that. Yeah. But nothing major. I mean, they're about even. I think if you're asking me like over the course of what I've seen from the start of camp to now, like there's some days the offense has had the upper hand, some days the defense has had the upper hand. I don't think anybody's been, maybe one day where the defense was just like they're cooking. I don't think anybody's been dominant per se. It's been kind of a back and forth. That could be a very good thing. That could be terrifying. Like you're getting to that point of camp. It's like, okay, I need to see this against somebody else. I need to see like what this really is. Is it Kenny Worthy's outstanding? Is it, the offensive line is blowing open holes for Jabron Payne and Zylan Perry. Today Cole Tab kind of popped off and had a big day. But like, is this defensive line better? I want to think they are. I have major concern. Like if I really could express like what my biggest concern is so far, I don't know that they have any depth on the offensive line yet.
Oh wow.
Like I'm confident in the first 5 guys.
Right.
I don't know. Like last year, we could point to Lozowicki, like that guy's battling Evan
Swing
Tengestal
guy, yeah.
like tooth and nail. Like if they need him to go in, for Tayo or for Tengestal, like you felt pretty good about it.
Right.
I have no clue who that guy is right now on the twos on the offensive line. So for me, that is a pretty big concern that if a guy or two gets nicked up, like that offensive line could go from a very much a strength to a concern in the blink of an eye, because I think you need at least one, and potentially you'd like an inside guy that you can trust and a tackle that you can trust if need be.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're seeing anybody that did what Lozo did last year and made that push is like I'm next in line if anything pops up. I don't know who that is. So like we haven't talked about that much, but for me that's something they got to figure out, because the second unit offensive line is having some struggles at times in camp. Is it because there is a legitimate, depth piece to the defensive line that's going to show itself this year that, maybe they don't have that elite first group, but they can run 2-3 different groups at you and just keep wearing down an offensive line over the course of a game, which should pay off later in the game in the fourth quarter when your starters are fresh and their offensive line is worn down a little bit. If that's how this plays out, then I think they're going to be in a good place. But, the other thing is this was legitimately, analytically, it was the worst defensive line in the Power Four last year.
Yeah.
They did not make an impact on games. Like just straight up, there was no impact made from the front group. Now, they didn't get a lot of help. It was 3-on-5 pretty much every snap. And when it's 3-on-5 every snap, unless you got NFL dudes that you're just throwing out there, you're going to struggle. So I'm interested to see now that you're going to have more diversity in the attack, and there's going to be rushers coming from different places, and you're not just going to be satisfied with rushing 3 guys and letting 5 guys block them at 3-on-5, even on 4th and 1. It was insanely frustrating, Jared.
Yeah, that's still one of the most mind-blowing pictures I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that game? Was that at Kansas or no, I think it was a little later in the year.
It was later in the year. I can't remember which one though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. There's, they load up the box ready to run short yardage, and you got 3 guys at the line of scrimmage and 3 linebackers 5 yards off the ball. You're going to get your ass kicked. So we're going to find out if it was a talent issue or if it was a scheme issue pretty quick with this group, I think.
Yeah. And another thing that I've always been thinking about with this whole game manager side of things, and now with a little bit more of an aggressive defensive approach where you do take gambles, you do take some risks trying to come up with more turnovers, more havoc plays, is the fact that you then open up the door for more possibilities for the opposing offense to hit big plays when you miss on the havoc. So, and then if you have a game manager instead of, kind of a up-tempo offense that wants to respond with scores, are you kind of fighting, fire with no fire? Or it's an interesting
You're fighting
attempt.
Fire with gasoline.
Yeah, exactly. and you can't start your lighter, and you're just like, gosh, it hurts.
Well, Skeletor, Dante, I don't think a lot of people know this, and we didn't last year at this point in time, didn't have the okay to go with it. When he got hurt early in the year, he had surgery on his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was not, he fought back as to give as much as he could, but that was an ankle that was a major problem that was game 1, right? That he hurt the ankle.
Yeah.
It goes game 1.
It was early too. He battled it out. Yeah.
He was not himself all year.
No, but gosh, Dante, the Godfather, great guy. I had one final thing, but yeah, Royer's out. Oh yeah, with the backup offensive lineman, Chad. Obviously, that's when you put a little bit of faith in Coach Cardwell, who, by all accounts, is just one of the best offensive line coaches and just coaches, period, in the country. So, yeah.
Yeah, Brent, none of those guys have really played.
Right. Because,
that's the terrifying part. Like the experience part does not exist. I mean, what?
Because they didn't bring in any transfers, so it is truly.
It's all the guys you recruited, all
Guadalupe,
the young guys,
Aiden Pastoriza, Zach Clark. Like these are all names that have been tossed out there, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. As far as that goes, anything you want to add? And Aaron, you've been a little quiet so far.
Yeah, I'm Ryan's been involved, and I wanted to make sure to give him room. He was cooking.
Yeah, he was. As he always does. You know, the man's in the kitchen, just cooking. But yeah, let's go ahead and timestamp that. That was a good little football segment. I enjoyed. Oh, by the way, Thomas Johnson. Woo, that dude's got an edge to him, and they put him on the edge. I don't know what that says about how confident they were on the edge going into the year, as far as on the line. I mean, but
I don't know who that guy was going to be if it wasn't Thomas Johnson.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been Marquez, but then I think his best spot is the 3 technique, being on the other side, and then you try to get a legit, like, you know, bona fide pass rusher that you can throw in there, and then hopefully you can get some havoc, create some havoc from both sides. But yeah.
Well, Nico said he's got heavy hands and he's got a heavy attitude too, so I definitely want to see him out there rocking. So good to see. Go ahead, Chad.
All right. That brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products, from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. I was texting with Nick yesterday, Brent.
Yeah.
And he said it took him like 5 minutes in listening to the games in the Bahamas before he was like, is that Chad? Wait a minute. And then he picked up on it. We said I did a great job. But you know, he said it took him a few minutes to actually have it settle in. Like that voice sounds familiar.
Right. Like, who is that? Well, it's funny because my dad was watching the game too, at his office, and he texted me and was like, hey, who's on this call right now? And I was like, it's Chad. And he's like, oh, I thought I knew that voice. So yeah, Nick wasn't the only one there. There's no doubt about that. And
hey,
Thrifty Wallace.
Are those stock pictures?
No, I took those pictures actually.
Okay.
With a camera, and put them in there. I've got beautiful artwork.
What are they pictures of?
The beach, just right here, right across the street. Just
with an actual camera.
Yeah, a Polaroid.
Polaroid.
The Canon. Yeah. Say
Canon.
cheese. Yep, one of those.
Wind, click, 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 click.
Say cheese, smile. It's like a little kid's toy almost, you know. Really usable and fun.
Those are stock pictures, Thrifty. You're right.
1,000%.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. I tell you what, Ryan Royer. You know what, man? This is a new segment that we have, and well, it's a segment we've always had, but it's got a new little twist to it. Chad,
sir, there it is.
Yeah, I mean it's time for Roofing with Royer, where we raise the roof, and it's brought to you by E&L Roofing. They've been in business since 2009. They're veteran owned and operated. They're experts in insurance claims for roof siding and gutters. They're locally owned and operated. Free estimates and inspections, and they also do normal retail gutter siding and roof replacements and repairs. All you got to do, go to elroofing.com to sign up for an inspection to estimate.
All right. Raise the
Raise the
roof.
roof.
Well, no.
All
Remember, that's the last question. Is the raise the roof
Oh, okay.
question? You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
clap.
Yeah, let's go. All right.
All right. We'll make this a fun little. Has camp raised your roof of confidence on the
Ooh.
5.5 win total mark?
I like that question, Ryan.
Or has it remained the same or dropped?
Well, I was always over. I'll go ahead and go first. I was always over.
Brent, that's your nickname. Brent, always over Young.
Always over.
Well, Brad, if you were over, has your confidence grown? Or
It has solidified my confidence. You know what? Initially, it was sort of an approach of like, you know, pessimistic optimism, if you will. But yeah,
interesting.
What was that?
a little double negative made it a positive. But you know, it was more of an approach of like, okay, you
Pessimistic
don't
optimism.
have noted and known strong assets at the most important positions like we did last year. But and then you know what, when you're sick, you have a lot of time to go back and listen to articles and listen to interviews and whatnot. I just got this growing bubble of just like, okay, well, you know what? Yes, the schedule is hard. Yes, winning is not easy. But you know what? If you just have to win more than 5.5 games, all you need is a good offensive line, a couple things to go your way, and then a defense that comes out and shocks the opponent for a handful of games and gets some sort of havoc, and all of a sudden you're pulling out victories left and right. I'm not saying they're going to go and win 10, but just with what they have at their disposal on the offensive line and what this defense is sounding like it might be, and you know, I feel like it's solidified my feelings of going over 5.5.
I always felt good about him. Kind of like Brent. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because we are a Bearcat centric podcast. But I think that the defense is going to be a difference maker this year. Like I truly believe that, and I think the fact that they have been largely outplaying the offense over the course of camp, I think that kind of shows. I mean, you've got a kid like Worthy who is actually making plays on the ball, and all of a sudden you might actually see some interceptions this season, which would be a massive difference from a year ago. And I don't know, I think that having a defense that's actually worth a shit is going to keep you in some games that you weren't in last year simply because you just didn't have a defense.
Yeah. You know, 30 Walrus, you made me laugh there, brother. That's a good one.
You did say you were listening to articles.
You did.
Oh, the second that I said it, I was like, whoops. But yeah. Go ahead, Chad.
I think I'm probably still in a holding pattern because I just think it comes down to those 4 games: West Virginia, Iowa State, Colorado, Kansas State. And you know, I think they should win the first 3. If you win 3 of those games, now you're at 6. If you win 4 of those games, you're at 7. If you only win 1 of them or 2 of them, you're in big trouble, because then, you know, the other 5 games are against the teams that are predicted to be the top 5 teams in the league. I don't know if people realize that. When we talk about the schedule being tough, they have those 4 games, which are opponents that are at or below Cincinnati in most of the rankings. The other 5 games are the top 5 teams in the league.
That's based on last year, though, and everyone's roster
I don't think
gets
it
a
is.
makeover and all of that. It's I don't know.
The only team in that top 5, Aaron, that I don't think is really legitimately going to be a top tier team in this league is Utah, because they lost almost everything. And, you know, I think people just anticipate that it's going to roll over because the coach has been there and they're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Quarterback.
But I don't think that quarterback was all that great last year to begin with. And I was high on him going into the season.
Right.
And I didn't think he had a great year per se. It's just there's so much riding on those 4 conference games, 2 at home, 2 on the road. Like again, if you go 3-1, I think you're in a good spot. But I don't know that they're in position to go 3-1 in those games. Especially West Virginia and Iowa State on the road. I don't think those teams are going to be particularly good, but they're both programs that are very tough at home. And you're getting Iowa State in Ames in mid-November. Like that could be, snow blowing, 8 inches of snow blowing sideways in that game. So, yeah, that's where I'm still right in that 6 range. I think when Dave and I sit down in 2 weeks and do our season projection, I think I'm probably going to end up right at around 6-6. So I don't think I'm any more or less confident having seen what I've seen in camp so far.
Yeah. So you haven't seen anything that you're like, oh shit, we're screwed. And you haven't seen anything. You're like, all right, well, maybe we got something cooking.
Right. I don't have a ton of confidence in the consistency of the offense to compete against the upper echelon teams in the league.
I always tend to operate if your needle isn't moving, then it's really just move it down.
And that's fair.
Especially in a situation like this. It's we're talking about a 6-6 team. It'd be one thing if it's like, yeah, this team has been good, they look good, nothing like they're consistently good. That's not a problem. But that does concern me. It's like nothing is really moving the needle because back when we had a lot of talent on the team and the roster was predictable, you had good on good going up against each other. So like parity was a good thing and it was expected because you had players that you knew you could count on. Yeah. And it's a little bit more concerning now because what I would have loved to hear coming out of camp is, wow, JC French is really, he's extending himself beyond that game manager type of thing. Or in that, you can look at that. It's like, all right, well, his receivers aren't getting open, so he can't extend himself out and, kind of showcase his talent. It's like, all right, well, that is a problem.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear you hear about a guy like Xavier Worthy, stepping up. So it's like, yeah, even if he's going against, if the competition he's going against not as good, well, I mean, he must be doing something good enough to be standing out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's like, that is a positive in and of itself.
Kenny.
Although if we
Kenny
did
Worthy.
add Xavier Worthy,
Xavier Worthy
would be a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be.
Xavier Worthy might have actually lost his job to Cyrus
My
Allen.
bad, Kenny, man.
Hey,
Hold the thumb there.
Kenny dog. But yeah, I agree. If the reports were Sorsby, who this French guy is going to be a Heisman, then yeah, I think everyone's would be like national media would be picking up on it because right now national media just doesn't give two.
Yeah, I mean,
about us, but
it's when our quarterback is getting called a game manager, like that is what's coming out of camp. I mean, it doesn't make me super thrilled, to be honest. So we'll see.
But I think like game manager plus, right, Chad? Like more that he just is like making the right decisions and like doing things and like
I said from the start, I hate to put that tag on him because people take it as a negative connotation. I don't. A guy that's not going to make mistakes, that's going to move the chains, that's going to keep drives alive. Like I don't take that as a negative connotation the way a lot of people do when you talk about a game manager. For me, I don't think that's a negative. Where it can be a negative, Ryan, I think, and this is more of what you're getting at, is does it stop at game manager? Because if it stops at just being a game manager, then you're not able to make the plays in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left of a 1-score game. And that's what we're going to have to find out about him is, can you manage the game but still be the guy when the chips are down that goes and wins the game.
Yeah, if game manager doesn't work well on a 6-6 team,
Right.
it means that there's not a lot of shit going on.
Right.
I'm thinking like game manager works well when you're dealing with like Blake Sims at Alabama. Like that can work when you have
Right.
Heisman caliber running back. You have all pros scattered across the defense.
Right.
It's like
Right.
we'll still go to the national championship game with this kind of guy.
Can we win the national championship?
That's like
game
you know when I think of game that
yeah.
I just think of like early Nick Saban Alabama teams, like before they started getting like dynamic NFL quarterbacks, like those guys that you didn't really hear much about them in high school. They're highly rated, but like they weren't like the blue chip quarterbacks, guys that didn't really end up starting in the NFL, but the Bama would just still win with that type of game manager because they were a loaded team. They had playmakers across the board. And so when we think about game manager on Cincinnati's 5.5 win total, I'm not as excited about it. But
yeah, again, Ryan, it comes down to those 4 games.
Yeah,
for me, JC French in 2 or 3 of those games, 4 of those games, go out and win a close game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
because he's going to have to, or else this could be real bad.
Well, I'll just keep it a buck with you. If we go 4-0 in those games and the year ends at 7-5, like, yes, we won 7 games, but like it's
for eternity if this team goes 7-5.
What'd you say?
Extend Satterfield for eternity if this team goes 7-5.
My point is 7-5 is going to be hard to do, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough, and it's that.
Ryan, did you see the report for 24/7 Sports that came out today?
I did not.
It talked about the spending tiers in college football.
My only argument, I talked about this.
It's not great for Cincinnati.
No, I know. My argument when it comes to that stuff is you don't get over the hump until you do more with less. And that's what happened with us when our last season, we went out and we built it up, and we had less resources than Notre Dame. We had less resources than Indiana. We had less resources than Alabama. We beat 2 of those teams, and we kind of got it handed to us by Alabama in ways. But there were moments in that game where we were hanging in there with one of the best dynasties in the history of college football. So it's
and if there was money involved, Ryan, you guys would have been an entirely different team because Sauce would have went somewhere and made $15 million. Like
I agree. I'm thinking about Indiana as a perfect example. So you get a Kurt Cignetti who comes in, he does more with less, and he absolutely flips Indiana on its head. They get all the money, they get all the support. Not saying that that's what. Obviously, that's hard to come by
in one place.
I also don't think that's an apples to apples comparison because Indiana still has Big Ten money, and Big Ten money is very different than Big 12 money.
I'm using it as an example. Is that if you do more,
Indiana has Indiana money. That's what it is.
They have multiple billionaires that.
I know.
Yes, you needed to get them engaged and get them supporting the program more, but Indiana wasn't.
I know, but he did more with less. He whooped up on arguably the best conference in football lately with James Madison players. So my point is you have at some point, whether it's Satterfield or if Satterfield can't get over the 8-win hump within the next 2 years, then it's going to have to be someone else who's going to have to come in here and they're going to have to win some fucking football games. They're going to have to compete for a Big 12 championship at some point. Like that has to be the standard. It has to be. No matter how much money we don't have, you have to get to that point. Because we can't fall into the loop.
There's a reality, Ryan, where this is the team spending the least amount of money on their roster in the Big 12 in football.
I know, Chad. I understand. I
don't.
understand why that makes it hard, but we have to expect greatness at some point. At some point, the coach has to be under the gun to say, listen, I know you don't have the when are we going to go out and win? When are we go out and steal 2 games instead of being 6-6? Now we're 8-4. If we don't, at some point, it's going to have to get to that where we can do that, because we have a program that is led and capable of doing that. Because Chad, we can't. I get it.
It just makes it significantly harder.
I know. I can't. I agree with you, but
significantly
if you build it, they will come. I'm telling you. I'm not. We're never gonna be at top of the league. I know that, but we will be We'll start getting more money. We'll get more momentum. But you have to go win the damn games at some point. And if we get trapped in this loop of, well, we don't have the money, so we'll never be good, then we're gonna be Rutgers. We're gonna be Rutgers in the big forever. Like, we can't. None of us want that. We can't.
But it's also our responsibility on this show to speak on what is reality. The reality is they're one of the lowest funded rosters in the Big 12. Whether you like it or not, they are.
Yeah.
We need to send out a PSA to just every Swiftie donate $1 every year. I mean,
I get that money is really important.
It's the only thing that matters anymore. That's how decisions are made on who is going to play on your team. The recruiting, relationships, none of that shit matters anymore. How much? What's the check? And if you've got the biggest check, where do I sign?
I understand. And at some point, great coaches in great programs elevate themselves with less. Obviously, it's hard to do an apples comparison, but every single look, Jared Calhoun, he did more with less. That's an example here at Cincinnati, how he did more with less throughout his coaching career. That's how he ended up here at Cincinnati. Now he's got to do it again. But if you go back,
find out if he can do more with more.
That's better. That's a way better example. I appreciate that one far more than Signetti.
But every good football coach prior to NIL, they all established themselves by doing more with less, and then when they finally made it, they differentiated themselves by being the best. Like Nick Saban,
Luke Fickell was an awesome coach at Cincinnati.
I know.
Is he a shitty coach now?
Well, no, he's not a shitty coach. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know how to work the landscape. But at some point, we have to find someone that does. Fair. And that has to be the standard.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think there's a reality where if this team goes 5-7, we're talking about a coaching search in 4 months.
And they should. I think they should go for a coaching search if they go 6-6. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that we need to be consistently 10-2. I'm saying that there has to be we have to win 8 fucking games here. Like we have to win 8 fucking games this year, or Satterfield, in my opinion, needs to be gone. Do I think we're going to do it? No. If he wins 6 games,
so you're firing him at 7-5.
I don't. I like Satterfield as a guy. There's no way they're going to fire him at 7-5. But if he doesn't win 8 games this year or next year, then
here's the problem, Ryan. Last year was the year.
Yes,
he pissed away the opportunity last year. Last year was the year where you win. You may not win the Big 12, but you go 9-3. You go to a bowl game. Like, you've got like NFL draft picks. You've got, now you've got that year on your mantle where they can give you an extension. There's going to be an understanding that this year's probably going to be a little bit of a dip because of the NFL players that you lost, and you're going to have to reshuffle and resurface some things. The problem is they didn't get that done last year. And instead of being 9-3, they ended up 7-6 and lost their last 5 games. And that creates this conversation that we're having right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we have to find a way to win 8 games 2 out of 3 years at some point in the near future to find any bit of momentum or confidence in anything. And if we can't, that's the only way we start climbing out of the bottom of the Big 12 in funding, in performance. It's a compounding thing. And if we don't do it soon, I mean, it's he's not going to be the coach if he doesn't ever win 8 games in the near future. So if he doesn't do it, then we have
question.
we
No,
we have to expect it. We have to expect it because I think 8-4 has to be the standard. It has to be consistently has to be the standard, or we will get washed away, and it'll get to the point it gets even more difficult to win 5 games. So it's
one of the best offensive lines in the country with no money. Yeah, that's what happens when you recruit a guy that in 3 years becomes seen as the best guard in college football, or one of the best 2 or 3 guards in college football. And guess what? In most cases, Evan Tengestal would have entered the transfer portal last year at the end of the window to enter the transfer portal, because there were teams throwing 3 and 4 times what he agreed to at Cincinnati to enter the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
And he stayed. You cannot count on that happening, on that being the norm. Because guys, when they get thrown that type of money, life-changing money, over $1 million a year to enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else, most of them are going to leave. Evan stayed.
Yeah.
That's
is awesome.
the difference.
Well,
awesome.
and also I think another thing on top of it is like, I'm sure Joe Cotton probably got calls, and so did Tarantayo during the offseason. But the fact is,
nothing
Nick
like Evan.
Right. Yeah, nothing at all like Evan. But Nick Cardwell is a guy that deserves all the flowers too. So like you got that going for you. But yeah, it's very unlikely that you find another guy from just up north a little bit that wants to stay local and continue to be as strong as it can be. But and another thing, Ryan, you bring up Cignetti is the fact that Cignetti like came in and took the bull by the horns too, and kind of gambled like heavy. Like he said, everyone in here acts like like they all have that mentality of like, we can't win, like we're losers, and he said, I don't like that. And he's the one that lit a fire, and so yeah, you need someone to light a fire to lead and produce wins and raise money and this, that, and the other, the whole thing. So
does that give me hope that he stayed? He sees potential and decided to stay. Look, there's one thing I will say unequivocally. The one thing Scott Satterfield has done brilliantly is build a locker room. Those guys are connected. Those guys, they all talk about how well connected, how tight the group is. That's another thing that Nico does incredibly well. That part, when they get you here, and this has been true for the entire time Sat's been here, you are not seeing guys enter the portal that they really want to keep. Now, Sorsby was a bit of a different situation because he had the opportunity to go be the number 1 or number 2 quarterback on the open market.
And he took
a gambling problem. They had a gambling problem we needed to fund. So
you covered up my good joke there.
I did. I'm sorry, Brent. My bad.
It's okay.
But like guys staying once they get guys here isn't really the problem. The problem is you don't have the money to get the higher level guys here. So you're constantly trying to hit on diamonds in the rough. That has I'm going to be brutally honest with the folks here. That has happened twice in the history of the UC football program. The 2 Brian Kelly years and the 2 Luke Fickell years, where they went out and hit on it felt like everybody. It felt like everybody turned, and a lot of those BK guys were D'Antonio guys that D'Antonio brought in under the radar. They bonded, they clicked, they built a wave. and then it lost some momentum during Butch. It hit rock bottom during Tubbs. Luke came in, was able to salvage a few of the Tuberville guys and turn them into the early foundation. And then it felt like he hit on almost everybody for 2 years.
It is crazy. Like, I
And
mean,
then what happened? NIL started to happen.
And then NIL started to happen, and it makes it a lot more difficult. You know what else happened that nobody talks about, Ryan? If you guys beat Georgia, 2021 never happens. Because 3 or 4, like you know as well as I do, Kobe was gone. Kobe was gone. They were shocked when Kobe said he was coming back because there was unfinished business because you lost the Georgia game. If that kick doesn't go through.
I remember you being shocked that Kobe was coming back.
Because everybody in the program told me Kobe's not coming back. He's going to the NFL. Dez is probably going to the NFL. Like the core of that team that had an option that they were going to get drafted were going to the NFL. And then for whatever reason, they felt that desire to come back and finish what they started the next year. Like everything broke right for you guys. And
I know.
need that.
And I know
you need that to happen.
You better thank George Pickens every daggone day, Ryan.
I know I beat the 2021 drum a lot because it's something I know I have an intimate knowledge of. But if you step back and you look at those coaches you list off, program building coaches, I equate more of Fickle and D'Antonio to real culture program driven in a way different than Kelly is. Kelly is more like a CEO type of guy, not as much as
Brian Kelly's a fucking incredible football coach. Now he's a shitty person.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say is it's they're similar, but there's a stark difference between D'Antonio and Fickle and Brian Kelly. So program they are developmental program coaches that you see Luke get struck by the struggle of that with NIL. Mm-hmm. And what is it? So what does NIL drive? It drives
individualism.
I'm talking more of like how to win. You win with guys that you rent. So what do you have to be really good at? You have to have a really good scheme that you can execute on multiple different folds every week, and you have to be a really good coach and with really good detail-oriented. It's almost like it turns almost into the NFL where all the guys there are they're brainiac coordinators. Everyone's a genius. Sure. And I think Luke Fickle is a defensive genius. It gets a lot harder to do that when you're gambling on players to be good every year. Yeah. And you don't utilize your resources as well. That's why I think you see Luke struggling at Wisconsin. Now you have Satterfield here, who's proven to have issues with being dynamic with his offense. He hasn't been able to adjust well in the end game. We haven't been able to really scheme up throughout the season outside of the opening script. It's something that he sticks to his guns with his offense. And it becomes more and more of a problem when you don't have money to go get the best players. So you're having not as good players, and you're dealing with a predictable, not as good players.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. And that's where the issue is. The issue is that's what I'm saying. It has to be something where a change in kind of attitude has to be established. And this team, every year we hear more and more about like how close they're getting, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, when it comes down to winning football games, they struggle with that. And
because in today's day and age, Ryan, if you've got an extra $5 million, you can go buy the star receiver and the star edge rusher and the star left tackle. And all of a sudden, your outlook looks a lot different because now you've got an NFL guy at your number one wide receiver and an NFL guy at left tackle and an NFL guy at edge rusher. And UC doesn't have that. They if they're not at the bottom of the Big 12 in football resources, they're close. And yes, you need excitement to change that. But
You need excitement, and you need schematic coaching exceptionalism, which I don't think Satterfield has shown the ability to do lately. And maybe this year he can take. Maybe this year he can take that step. Take the step.
Because last year was the year. Last
Yeah.
year you were 7-1. You were
but
7-1, and you had an opportunity going into November to have that type of year that this fan base is clamoring for, and you fucked it up. Now, the competition was, for the most part, better than you. Like, you lost to teams that were proven over the course of a season better than the teams you played in the first 8 games of the year. But still, they messed up the opportunity to have a year in hand, like to have that show me year. And now I don't know, because I don't know when the chips are down, who's making the play. I don't know. I don't have that answer for you until we watch it, and we either see it happen and we go that, because guess what? At this time last year, there wasn't a single one of the 4 of us that was talking about Cyrus Allen being a star.
Yeah.
Not a single one. And that was watching him in practice every day, because they hadn't figured out the right role for him until they got closer to the season. The season started. They were moving him outside, inside, and then once they stuck him in the slot and went, oh, this guy's a nightmare matchup for number 3 corners. Like, we're going to, we found something. Are they going to find something with somebody this year? I don't know that there's anybody as dynamic as Cyrus.
Yeah.
But,
that's what I'm saying. It's going to, a lot of it is going to fall on the shoulders of doing more with less. How do we put our players in their best position to succeed? It's making sure
we'll find out if Nate Woody was a difference there, because he's going to have to be.
I think it's going to come down to the offense has to be less predictable. They have to. Then it comes down to, can we coach our offense into not making mistakes, avoiding penalties, avoiding turnovers? Those are more controllable things. And can we evolve across a football game outside of the opening script? Can we evolve across from the start of conference play? Yeah, from the start of conference play to the 4th game of conference play. Can we show different looks? Can we put our players in positions to make a play when they might not be able to make it? Might not be as good as the guy across from them. And it's what it's going to come down to. That it's the whole philosophy of what the shitstorm we've been in here now. We have to find a way to make more with less. And we haven't done that. And the more we keep doing that, the more it becomes acceptable and the more comfortable we get with being ass. And so Satterfield has to find a way to shift that this year.
But legitimately, I hear this a lot, Ryan. I'm curious. Who are these people that are comfortable and feel that 6-6 is acceptable? Like, I hear about these people. I've never met them. I've never met anybody that's like, 6-6 is fine.
I just think that they've become accustomed to expecting it. They don't believe in Satterfield. They don't believe that we're going to find something.
Okay, but the administration isn't happy with mediocrity. They just fired Wes Miller. The guy that was winning, 19, 20 games a year, was finishing in the middle of the pack of the Big 12, was missing the NCAA tournament by narrow margins, and they said that wasn't good enough. They fired him. They went and got a new coach.
I'm talking more about the negative momentum that is surrounding the football team. Not that people are okay with it, that they're like, it's just that, we'll never, Satterfield isn't the guy. We'll never be what we were in with Luke Fickell. It's that expectation has been established that, like,
here's the reality of it, Ryan. You know why 2008 and 2009 were what they were? Because they had a top 3 offense in the country. You know why 2020 and 2021 were what they were? Because you had a top 3 defense in the country.
Okay, my counter to you is Luke Fickell's first year, we were fucking horrible. And then We went out and we made more with less our second year. We didn't have the level caliber of players that second year that we had in years 3, 4, and 5, but we put in the work and dedicated our whole offseason to learning how to be a better football team in every detail, offense, defense. We were on the field for 3.5 fucking hours in the spring. It was horrible. It was a grind, and we saw the fruits of it immediately. And then we built upon that. So my point is that you have to start somewhere, and to get to that point. And it doesn't feel, the energy doesn't feel like the urgency doesn't feel there, because it's, we've got our flames stomped out the past 3 years. It's been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And so,
yeah. And there's a reality, if they don't get it done this year, that they underperform and have a bad year, we'll be talking about a new coach in December.
Yeah. I know. It's just, it's just sickening that, like, making a bowl game is now like, oh, at least we made a bowl game. It makes it even worse. Like, Chad, you're very right about the whole last year was the chance. It was like after that Iowa State game, it was like, holy shit, like, we got to strike now. Like, this is a chance.
Yeah. The door's wide open. You've got a shot.
And I think that we were exposed in some ways with the use of our players. We became a very predictable team, and that became more and more hard to overcome as the season went on.
I agree. Well, Ryan, that was a very fun first question.
Let's get this moving.
Why don't we just do the tip touching topic?
Yeah,
the roof raising.
That was all 3 questions.
Yeah, that was there. That was good. Good conversation.
Hey, Ryan, you did call me this weekend. Do you remember it? It was kind of late at night. I was sick in bed. I said, bro, I'm sick. He said, I just got to tell you something real fast. I was like, okay, what's up? He said, I'm at Highmark. They just served me another frosty Cincy Light and another patty melt with a side of extra fry sauce. And
we don't talk about them anymore until they start paying.
Highmark's out.
Told me that this was my. They told me this was my 300th visit.
You get a 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, 2-minute time. You're in the penalty box for 2 minutes every time you mention that
300th visit. Okay, deal. They told me this was my 300th visit, and I can only think of you because we have our 300th show on Monday. What's some of your favorite things? I said, stop. Let's save this for the BBP. Let's save it for Monday. 300th episode, Monday. What is your favorite 300 out there? Is it, let's see here. Would you like to bowl a 300? Is that maybe it? What about 300? Do you want to find $300 on the floor? What is it? Okay. How many different running backs? What did he say? A Highmark statement?
He mentioned that place you're not allowed to mention on here anymore. He got put in a 5-minute timeout.
Bad boy. Is it thinking about how many of the running backs will eclipse the 300-yard mark this season? What is something having to do with the number 300 that really brings a joy to your face, to your life, to your brain? Take it away, Aaron. You're up first.
300.
300, man. Damn it.
The movie is fantastic.
I was just about to say that one.
That's okay. That was the first thing I sent you when you sent me the 300 response last night when I told you the mailbag was ready with my random mail gift that I send you every week.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And Aaron, you want to know why I thought about 300? Because 300 Spartan soldiers did more with less They took on
Oh,
the entire
Jesus.
Persian
Fuck.
army of the Big 12
Holy
funded teams.
You're starting to
All
have a bit of a
all
point
that
here.
oil money. It even makes sense. There was probably a lot of oil in Persia. How do you think they got such a big money out there?
Oh my
What was
God.
happening to oil back then before we were going over there for the global war on terror?
Ryan,
This-
think
this-
about how many podcasts make it to episode 300. It's very little, very little. The ones that do have that grit, that determination, that extra length, they don't go out there searching for more money. They want to sustain what they have. They want to do more with less and make less more. Yeah. How about bowling a 300? Guess
That
what,
would be
Ryan?
that would probably be. I'm so bad at bowling, so that
I
would be
hate bowling.
something so exceptional for me. A little 300 ball on the lanes. So
I mean, I've never owned one. What about the Chrysler 300?
Ooh. I'm
Nice,
digging it.
nice ride. My aunt had one. I really liked the Chrysler 300. I would drive one.
Yeah,
Greg, what do we got to do to get me like a sponsorship deal with your dealership, and I'll drive around the car. You give me a Chrysler 300, I'll take a used one. We'll do a sponsorship deal. I'll drive the car around. You can wrap it, logo it. We can logo it and put like a Bearcat Journal logo and the dealership logo on there. Make a deal out of it, and then for 300 episodes, I'll drive around a Chrysler 300 for a year.
let's go.
Think about that.
I'm all in on that. 300.
I mean, two 12-inch subs and 24-inch rims. The rims, I don't like just normal tires. Don't look like an asshole with like giant tires and shitty rims. I might have the subs.
The spinners. You don't want the spinners, Chad?
No, I'm good. I mean, on normal size tire, I'm talking about the tires that like stick out this far from the wheel well, and like the car just looks ridiculous. It's like,
why don't we do a dually Chrysler 300? So you got four wheels in the back.
Yeah.
With the wheel wells that stick out really far that you have to bolt on.
I will not drive that around.
With the spinners.
No.
There we go.
Greg, give me a sponsorship. I want to drive a Chrysler 300 around.
Did you know that that human beings are born with 300 bones?
Ooh.
Wow. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven.
All right, go all the way up to 300.
I was going to until someone stopped me. All right, let's timestamp.
That would be Chad's favorite moment in the show's history.
It would be unbelievable.
Fire all of you.
All right, this timestamp is brought to you by.
This timestamp is brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family and restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. To-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. This is normally where I filibuster a little bit, so I'm going to, and I'm going to mention the whole, Chad. I'm sure you and Aaron will have a nightcap in the future about the whole Ohio Court of Appeals granted the NCAA's motion to stay the whole thing that's saying that those players are now ineligible. I don't know that
they're still eligible, but dependent on the Colorado ruling. Now they really need the Colorado ruling to stick and not get a stay. If it gets a stay, then probably not going to see MJ Collins for this year. Greg, I think we've got a misconception here. I don't want you to sell me anything. I want your dealership to give me in exchange for advertisement in the large Bearcat Journal network. But I don't want to exchange any financial requirements here. So I don't want you to sell me anything.
Yes, correct. And then also there is a question regarding that in the mailbag as well. So we'll kind of talk about that more. But yeah, I mean that whole this whole thing is just and I know that Aaron, it's more your cup of tea. So I'm excited to hear your beautiful voice elaborate a little bit more on it for all of us. So.
Sure. Also, your Derek Pitts interview, Brent, was this past Thursday, and it was a lot of fun getting to chop it up with him for the better part of an hour.
Yeah, you stole him from me, and it just really pains my heart knowing that happened. But hey, you know what? It's okay. He's going to be on the BVP in the future as well. So fantastic job, and you're just getting him ready because he's going to be a star. You just wait and see, baby.
He's already a star internationally.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. I know.
All right. Mailbag. Let's do it. We'll start out in the football portion, as we always do. And first question, based on what you have learned about our Big 12 conference mates over the last 3 years, how does our overall program, recruiting, player development, player retention, coaching, university/booster support, etc., compared to those other 15 schools? Top quarter of the league, top half, bottom quarter, question mark.
I mean, I think the article that came out shines a pretty good light on it. There are, but a lot of, to be fair, there is most of the Big 12 is in a similar grouping. There were 5 schools listed as spending above $20 million. There were, and 6, if Texas Tech being, in the 30s, and then 5 in the 20s, and then 10 schools below 20 million. Cincinnati was one of those 10 schools below 20 million. I think the league is pretty close. And even a couple of those schools, I think, were just over 20. So, the league is pretty much outside of Tech and really BYU. The league is pretty close. So, I don't think Cincinnati's in a great spot in terms of put a number on it. But I don't think they're far off from where the rest of the league is. They're in Ryan's point that he was making earlier, they're not in the SEC where everybody was over 20 and almost everybody was over 30 or over 25. They're in striking distance. They're in do more with less range. I wasn't saying, Ryan, that they're so far out of it spending wise that they can't compete. I'm just saying it makes it difficult when the teams that you're competing with have that money to say, we're going to go pay for a better number one at pick a position. Instead of, we're going to try to rely on out scouting everybody and finding a guy in our price range that's going to play above his paycheck, I guess is a fair way to put it. Right now, they're in a position where they're going to have to get guys to play above their paycheck if they're going to have the kind of success that people want. And then you hope, as Ryan was getting at, they play above their paycheck. That brings more success. More success brings more money. And then you're able to go out and afford guys that have previously been out of your price range. But right now, you're going into year 4 in a new league, you're going to be at the bottom and working your way up. And that's where Cincinnati is.
Unless you have religious money. All right. What's one thing you would like to see Satterfield improve or do something differently as a coach this season?
Ryan Royer.
I think it's mainly in offensive play call number 16 through 32. Let's call it that. That's something. Or second half offense would be my answer.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on that and say, don't give up a touchdown at the end of a half and then again at the beginning of a half right after.
Fair.
So many
That's
times.
how you go from controlling a game to, oh shit, now we're in a fight for our life.
So many times. It was crazy. Brent, what you got?
One thing you like see is well, sad to say it, and Coach White was a great guy, but make a change defensively, and so he did it, and so let's hope that pays dividends. Coach Woody, I'm excited to see what the new scheme looks like and what trying to inflict havoc on the opponent looks like. It's going to be refreshing. So yes, that.
All right. Anything to add, Chad?
Not really. Win more games in November. How's that?
Win a game in November.
Win a game in November.
One single game is
against a team with a pulse, because the one victory was not.
Pick one freshman on each side of the ball that we will be talking a lot about at the end of the year.
Ooh, I like it.
Offense, I'll go Josh Smith, wide receiver.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I don't know of any other freshmen on offense that I project to making an impact.
Can I say defense?
Freshman? Is this true freshman or redshirt freshman?
It says I'm taking it as true freshman. Defense, I'll go Jonathan.
Can I say defense? Damn it, Chad.
Ha ha.
I think we were all going to go real low.
Yeah, obviously. All right, that was fun. Next question.
Well, CJ Crate is Keegan's boy.
Yeah, but he's not a freshman.
He's not a freshman, Aaron.
No, I thought he was.
Oh, red shirt.
I thought he played enough last year.
I mean, Aaron's looking at a roster.
There's no more red shirts.
Trying to find
there's red shirts. Don't exist on the roster anymore.
Oh,
They're all just sophomores now.
Year two. Okay, sophomore now. Yeah. I mean, Rulo, just the amount of people talking about him, and then Chad, I believe it was you that asked him about the defensive line and just kind of the depth there, and the third name out of Sat's mouth was Rulo, and he talked about him being a little bit more like twitchy down there at the and on the inside, and it's just like, okay, well, if a true freshman's sticking out that much, where the head coach who coaches offense is talking about you, then that means your name is getting brought up in important conversations, meaning you're going to be the one that is going to probably get a look and a nod out there. So I think Rulo is a no-brainer answer on that one.
Well, what about Lance Dawson?
Hasn't he been
possibly
hurt?
Yeah, like if they're not getting the pass rush that they want to get, then I think you have to, if you're in week 5 or 6 and you're not getting to the quarterback, then you have to look at Lance Dawson and say, hey, let's see what he can do.
Oh,
you're not losing anything if he goes out there and doesn't produce, because red shirts don't exist anymore.
Chad, I haven't really heard his name much. Has he been out there? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, he's in a group that's got a lot of old guys in it, like a lot of veterans that are in front of him that he's going to have to work past. I think he looks good. My question is, I don't think much of the backup offensive lineman. So if he's going against the third string offensive lineman, that's a far stretch from tussling with Joe Cotton to get around the edge and get to the quarterback. But I mean, physically, he looks great. Long arms, bends well. Like I was watching O-line, D-line drills today, and he had a couple moves that were really good. So the potential for Dawson is there. I think if you're not getting what you want from those veteran guys, Lance Dawson, come on down. Let's see if you can give us a spark.
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
You have that option now that the red shirt is eliminated.
I was just looking at the commitments, and I think that's the only other name that's stood out outside of the two aforementioned. So,
will Rulo and Dawson each be here for 3 or 4 years? Probably not. Are we talking about college football in 2026? I don't plan for anybody to be here for 3 or 4 years.
It also largely depends on what
is
if the
coaching
staff is
staff here.
right.
Yeah. If I had to bet on it, no. I'm not betting on anybody being here for 3 or 4 years anymore. 2 years is like, that's a long fucking time in college sports in 2026 if you get a guy for 2 years. Now, if the one-time transfer rule thing passes and you only get to transfer once, then we'll have a different conversation. But as it stands right now, where guys can transfer every year with impunity, no, I will never count on a guy being here for 3 or 4 years, ever.
The Bearcat Bounce used to be a gunner podcast, but I can't recall hearing anything this camp on the punt unit. What has changed? Sarcasm. My real question is, with 5 for 5, will special teams be used more as a tool to get younger players on the field, or will we see the Brian Mason approach of using the best players available to get the best results?
That is no damn sarcasm. We need to touch on this Gunner podcast thing immediately. Aaron, you were there on that Saturday after you ate 17 pancakes.
They didn't do any live punting. That's been the, like, they don't do a whole lot of live punting. So really getting a feel for, it's a lot of just running down the field. Like, right. they snap to the punter doesn't kick. They shoot it out of that jugs machine for the return guy. Everybody runs down the field, but nobody's live. Okay. So we're going to have to probably wait until things are going down for real. It's going down. We're going to have to wait till then to get an answer on the gunner question. I have seen when they're lined up a lot of regulars on the first punt team, on the first kickoff team. We'll see how that goes as the season goes on and guys get a little nicked up. And do we want to use this guy here? Do we want to save him for this? I think the intention is probably to use as many of those guys as you can. I think you'll probably see a lot of second team guys on the field on special teams when possible. But as the season goes along, like, that could be the place that some of these freshmen start popping up.
Yeah.
Fletch hits the roof. Fletch was so mad the other day. It was one of the stormy mornings. It was the first day that they were going to do live punting, and they were inside. And he can't punt in the indoor practice facility. I mean,
we did see that much where he was at least practicing his punting, even if they didn't go live when I was there, and he was just booming. It was funny because there were 2 scouts, NFL scouts, standing in front of me. And it was the only time they stopped talking after Evan Tengestal got done with his position drill stuff. They stopped talking to watch Fletch just booming punts all over the field. All right. JC French over-unders. Number 1, 23.5 combined passing/rushing touchdowns.
Man.
Under.
Yeah. Let's see here. What did Sorsby
2 touchdowns a game?
Year?
Sorsby was like 28.
Yeah, 27 passing and
27 passing.
How many rushing? 9 rushing.
I don't think that they'll use French.
18 passing and 9 rushing the year before.
I'll go 25 combined.
Yeah, I was going to say
barely over.
If you're scoring touchdowns, I feel like 23.5 isn't too crazy, right, Ryan?
It's about right. Yeah. I think somewhere in that range is about right.
Yeah.
I think directional FCS school gives him the over.
Western Carolina, pretty good team.
Sure. Number 2, 225.5 yards passing / rushing combined per game.
It needs to be over. It needs to be over.
Probably. What did Sorsby have, Brent?
Well, 234 2 years ago, 233 2 years ago. That's just passing. Sorry, last year, and then rushing added on another 37 2 years ago, and then 48.3. So you're looking right around.
He was at like 280.
280-ish, yeah.
I'll go over.
Hope so.
Yeah. Let's pick up the pace here. We're already at 2 hours.
I was waiting for other answers. 1.01 interceptions per game.
Under.
Under.
Next question.
2.5 game-winning drives with less than 5 minutes left in the game.
Under. Those do not happen as often as people think they do.
Yeah, under. Next question.
28.5 passes per game.
Under.
Under.
I hope so.
Yeah, under.
All right. And the last question in the football portion of the mailbag. Haven't paid attention too much this summer. What position group should I feel confident in being a top 3 unit in the Big 12? What position group should I
Offensive
worry
line.
about?
Yep.
What position
Offensive
group
line,
should...
absolutely.
Can I finish reading the question? Christ.
Read the first part, we answer it. Read the second part, we answer it.
Yeah.
That's new.
Okay, teacher.
Worry about being bottom of the Big 12 defensive line. They have to show it. Do I think they can be much better than last year? I think they can, but they were literally analytically the worst defensive line in the country last year among Power 4 programs. Got to be better. Got to be better. I need to see it.
Yeah.
I think they will be. Got to see it.
Would you even think? Bottom 3. I guess if they don't throw that much, then wide receivers as a whole, what are you basing it off of? Yards and touchdowns overall? I don't know if there's going to be more Big 12 teams that throw the ball more. It's just like,
I mean, they're probably going to throw about as few as anybody in the league, I would think. Like most of the league passes a lot.
Right.
Goodness. All right. That ends the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion. Any updates on the non-conference schedule being complete yet?
The non-conference schedule is complete. They are working on the 3rd exhibition game. When the 3rd exhibition game is finalized, then the non-conference schedule will be announced. But the non-conference schedule is complete. It's just not public yet.
Having seen what we have seen, if you could pick the ideal Bearcat alumni mentor for the following guys, who you got? Kai Fleming.
It's a good one.
Sean Kilpatrick.
Oh, that's a good pick. Jacob Evans. No, I like Kilpatrick more. I was thinking more of like a point guard mentality, but scoring mentality as well.
David DeJulius.
The only thing I'd say there, Kai is like 6 inches. Like his game is a lot different than Dave.
Just faced adversity, and he loved the sea ball.
He did. I'm just, if I'm thinking of a perfect mentor for a Kai Fleming, I'm thinking more of like a combo guard that has a scorer's mentality, but can also handle the ball and be like a secondary ball handler, a backup point guard type. SK jumped at. Jacob's probably not a bad thought as well.
Right. I mean, got drafted in the first round. Obviously, didn't do too much once he got there, but damn Las Vegas trip. But
yeah.
Tyler Tejada.
That's a tough one. They haven't had a lot of like perimeter based foremen.
I know. Like I wanted to say like
I thought about Gary, but Gary lived in the paint. Like he became a little bit of a better shooter as time went on.
In
But
the
Gary
NBA, he shot plenty of threes in the NBA.
Right, but in college, he didn't shoot a ton. But
Yeah,
maybe you
probably
get
a year
Tejada a
before.
little bit more aggressive on the glass.
Yeah.
Gary's not bad. I'd roll with Gary or Trey, one of the two.
Yeah.
And Jaden Hastings.
Justin Jackson.
Yeah. Justin Jackson or Eric Hicks, Jason Maxiell. Like,
Yeah.
Danny Fortson.
Yeah.
get him
Yeah.
angry and just playing like
Yeah.
a true Bearcat big.
Not too angry. Stay out of foul trouble. Which of these three players from last year's team start on this year's team?
Killer V couldn't help himself.
Baba Miller.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Day Thomas.
No.
His boy.
He
Killer
has-
V's
That's the only
boy.
reason he asked this question is to bait us into giving him an
It
answer.
had nothing to do with Baba or Mustafa Cham.
No, not even a little bit.
And Mustafa Cham.
Yeah.
Yes. Baba and Cham would absolutely start on this team.
Could the answer be all three with MJ Collins and Tejada filling out the
No.
starting five? Colvin first off the bench. What are we doing?
No.
I'd start MJ Collins over Day with Colvin at the 2 over Day in that starting. What are we doing?
No.
Killer V. All right. And last question in the basketball portion. What does the Ohio case injunction pause mean for MJ Collins? How long will it take to sort out the NCAA appeal?
So the appeal is not happening until the basketball season is over. Like those things take months. I see no chance that the appeal will be heard before we need to know an answer on MJ Collins. Now, he is eligible because of the Colorado ruling. So now the attention turns to the Colorado ruling. If there is a stay in the Colorado ruling, MJ Collins will not be eligible for the 2026-2027 season. That's my understanding of it. Unless something else happens along the way, the NCAA has made it very clear they are going to fight this. They just got their first win. If there's a stay in Colorado, that means they're ineligible until the appeal, and the appeal is likely not going to be until the spring or into next year. I would not anticipate MJ Collins is going to be able to play this year. So it was a pretty significant blow that the Ohio case issued the stay today and essentially said these guys are ineligible until the appeal. They fall back on the Colorado case because the Colorado case was basically blanket approval for all of the members of the 2022 class to get that fifth year. But now we turn our attention to the Colorado case because the Ohio case is essentially dead in the water until after college basketball season.
I guess the good news for Chad, though, is if the stay is allowed, then the Josh Reed 2000 is still alive.
Well, Josh Reed now is also reliant because he was part of the Ohio case. He's also reliant on the Colorado case.
But he's staying at Penn State.
That's not what a stay means, Aaron.
I thought that's what it was, because at some point it was in Colorado that if you were
A stay
transferring
is
to
a
a
legal
different,
term.
but correct me if I'm wrong, at some point it was part of it where you could not transfer out. If you
did not, if MJ Collins entered the portal
okay.
at the end of the season. Like when the portal opened, MJ Collins entered the portal. The Josh Reed situation is irrelevant because he's not leaving Penn State. So it doesn't matter. No, you thought stay meant
I was going for the
completely
joke.
different.
I'm just going for the joke. That's what I'm here for.
And it was bad.
Well, and also
That's fine.
Josh Reed is not even going to sniff 2,000 points. No,
1,000 points.
I know, but Aaron just said Josh Reed to 2,000,
I thought it was 2000.
which would be
Moving on all counts. The Banks portion. What fictional movie / TV sports
easy.
character would you like to have a beer with? Which one would you like to punch in the face?
ooh. Roy, I'm excited to hear your take on this one. Fictional team.
How about drink with
Sports character.
Rick Vaughn.
Yeah.
Easy
I-
answer for me.
You just go back to the well over and over again there.
I love
Hey.
Ricky Vaughn.
I know. And you know your scouting report, like you always say. That's a good pick,
Who wouldn't want to have a fucking beer with the Wild thing?
right? Because you know what's going on later that night.
Where'd you play last year? California Penal League. How'd you end up there? I stole a car.
There we go.
Aaron?
I'd say Danny McBride in pretty much any role ever.
Okay.
I think he'd be fun to have a beer with.
I was gonna say Kenny Powers, you bastard.
That's where I was going. I mean,
Nobody for
punch in the face.
who would I like to put? What sports character?
AJ Soprano, I'm punching in the face. I'm watching.
No, a sports character.
Oh yeah, shit.
You
You tried playing football in The Sopranos.
the bad guy from the Karate Kid. Punch that guy in the face.
Yeah.
There were two of them, weren't there?
No, the blonde hair, whatever.
The sensei or the kid?
The kid.
The kid, yeah. Yeah, he sucks.
And he's like the good guy in the recreate, like the TV show, right? He became the good guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get one right.
Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
Is that his
He's
name?
out.
It is his name.
Get him
Well done.
out of here. Get him out of here. I agree.
Actually, I'll stick with Major League. Fictional movie, TV sports character. I'd like to have a beer with Bob Uecker in Major League. In the booth while watching a game.
Why not?
Back in the old days when the broadcasters used to get loaded over a 9-inning baseball game every night.
Bring a fifth and see if you can finish it by the end of the game. Yeah. Yep. That's the way to go. Fantastic, guys.
Punch in the face.
Johnny Lawrence.
Punch in the face to the Russian coach for the team that the Mighty Ducks had to play.
What about
Ooh.
Ivan Drago? Would you punch Ivan Drago in the face?
I'm
Yeah,
not
he'd be
face.
gone.
The face isn't moving.
Yeah.
He'd be done.
You might have to hit him with a bat in the face, and he still might take it on the chin.
He's not moving. I'd have to have a metal bat.
Yeah.
Gosh, you
Hey.
guys are just demolishing it. What?
Happy 300, guys.
Happy 300, guys.
Happy 300.
We did it.
What an honor.
That's the mailbag, Brent. Get us out of here.
You know what, guys? We did it, man. It's the year 300. I think that's a song. You know what, guys? It's so fun
It's not.
being with you.
It's the medication.
Being with you Mondays, every single Monday for 300 straight weeks. Fantastic. That's a whoa, Jesus.
I don't think we've missed a week.
Is that 6 years? Almost.
I mean, Brent tried to make us miss every major sporting event Monday night.
Brent's missed plenty of weeks with major sporting events.
plenty of weeks.
Guys, I'm going to the game. Guys, I'm going to the game.
My buddy had tickets. I was just driving. I was driving past the national championship site.
It's a pretty unbelievable chain of events.
My great grandpappy used to like that team.
I mean, like, if you think about it, recent like Purdue basketball, Michigan football, Notre Dame football,
Got
Indiana
stakes in all of
football. I mean, like, oh my goodness gracious, that's like 4 deep connections. Now we just need the damn Cincinnati Bearcats to return, and they're going to.
I don't
Guys,
know, Charlie. Got a guy on the other line about some white walls. Let me get back to you.
I love it.
You may run like Mays, but you hit like shit.
Oh, you know what? A quick nod would be Dan Horde from the Simpsons TV show. He'd be fun to have a couple beers with. What, he got a new beer? Like what is going on at Ryan, guys?
I like to imagine we're all just a figment of Brent's imagination, and in the other room, someone is concerned talking to a doctor that you fake Brett podcasted 300 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's some like Shutter Island type shit right there for sure. Absolutely. But anyway, guys, 300, we did it. So, shouts to Danco Transmission and Out of Here. Shouts to Cincy Light. Shouts to, you know what? I'm going to give another special shout out to my boy Ryan Royer, and another shout out to E&L Roofing for the Roofing with Royer segment, because that's what I like to do with him. Quick Paper Supply, shouts to them. And shouts to our loyal listeners. Crypt Keeper, I'm talking to you. Thrifty Walrus, to you as well. Even you, Ed. And you know what? How about to you as well, Greg? And you as well, Jared. And you as well, Cincy Toughness 101. Shouts to all you guys. You guys make every Monday beautiful. So, and Aardvark Archetype. Shouts to you.
Where are those two idiots that used to come in every Monday night and just like be a pain in the ass on purpose?
Matt Lanham. Shouts to you too. Yes, I remember. They go back and forth, and then you kick them out. And shouts to the other people that used to come on and like try and tell us to go to like weird websites and stuff, and we had to kick them out right away before anyone saw them. Shouts to them. And shouts to everything and everyone. Bearcat Journal will keep you updated on everything going on in Bearcat land. But for the guys, for the crew, for the squad, for the 300th time, Baron Smith, for Chad Brindle, for Ryan Royer, I'm Brett Young. Getting another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See